We are live.
We're live. Nice. I just upvoted and responded to the best comment ever. Ben Haas already gets the comment of the Threadcast. It was hashtag it's a scam. And I replied 12 p.m. is always a scam. I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to, but that's what I'm gonna link it to. Yes, sir, Ben. 12 p.m. Threadcast. It is a scam.
You know what?
But you got to show up at 12.
Best.
What happens if we actually start at 12 o'clock one time?
Yeah, I think we've done it a few times, and people are confused. They're like, "Wait,
why is it? Wait, how am I late?"
Yeah, they're like, "Wait, I'm not ready yet."
That's great. I like the chirp from crickets from M Coins. I'm gonna use all my vote power in the first 5 minutes here. Vote that up too. See,
I don't see you in the space. Are you in the space?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get in the space.
No,
you're good. People can't even hear this. Crap.
It's buggy or not because it's only showing 2 people in the space now.
People can't even hear me. All right, hold on. Let me refresh.
We're all out of practice from our one or was it 2
play
weeks?
Record, that was weird. Oh, it's pinned. Oh, I got to put my headphones in.
Let's see here.
And then I got to find the right mic.
Oh, now I see you. Wow. You can allow all the things. All right. I think we're good. Let's see. Announcements are out.
All right. I requested on the thread. I mean, on the space.
All right. Can we get a quick mic check?
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yep, loud and clear.
Always have to switch my mic for some reason on Spaces. It defaults to like my monitor. It's weird.
Yeah.
So I guess for those not listening on YouTube, we were kidding around a few minutes ago when we launched, and I said Ben Haas gets the comment of the Threadcast already because he put hashtag it's a scam, and I fully assume he's referring to the AMA starting at noon, and in fact, it is a scam. But again, if you're not here at 12, what happens on the 1 or 2 times we actually start then?
Right.
You'll miss all the goodness.
You'll never know.
Anyway, that got a nice upvote for me. Same thing with M Coin's little cricket gif. What else do we got? There you go. Morty is got the Sesame Street characters snoring. I love it. Voting that too. I'm gonna have no vote juice 5 minutes into this thing.
I really am out of practice. I don't even have the Threadcast recorded.
That's all good. I mean, what my hope is that the Threadcast has, 20, 30 minutes to drop awesome comments in terms of what people are doing, how they're getting Leo to Moon, because Cat wants to be rich already. I'm getting old. I'm running out of time. It needs to happen. Everything hurts. I look like an old man now when I go play basketball. It's pretty pathetic.
I'm actually there with you. Everything does hurt.
Cal's like 26 or something, 27 going on 57.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. I was just telling someone the other day that I feel like all right, now I got the Threadcast recording. I was just saying the other day, I feel like when you get in like an old car that's just like it's fucking ran for 200,000 miles and like seats are torn up, the carpet underneath where your feet go for the brakes are like all fucking torn up. That's what I feel like.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like I might be like a newer car, but I'm a car that's fucking driven 200,000 miles. So.
You're a brand new car that someone used for Uber.
Yeah, exactly. That's even better. Yeah, I'm a brand new car that someone fucking put 100,000 miles of Uber driving on. That's exactly what it's like.
That's great. That's funny. Now I'm thinking about it. I guess luckily I was built like a Toyota because I got a lot of miles from from 20 plus years of playing basketball. I mean, if I'd never played basketball, I'd probably be in 10 times better health because the 7 less rolled ankles and muscle pulls but yeah, I don't feel for you, brother, because in my late 20s I was still invincible. I didn't have a single injury outside of one freak ankle injury when I was 19. I didn't have any injuries until I got like early mid 30s was my first like muscle pull, and then ever since then it's just been slowly downhill. But yeah, I was late 20s, I was in my prime. I was hooping like every day and like getting after it.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just I don't take good care of myself. I got to start doing that.
You're too busy sitting in front of the screen working on in Leo.
I know. Yeah.
Sitting, it's the new smoking.
I know. I think that's honestly, I've sat like my whole life. You know, it's just
We got to get, bro. You got to get. I have one. I never do it on this call. I have the desk that goes up and down, and I still, honestly, I still do it like maybe 10% of the time. It's so bad because I hate standing in one spot. Like, like I never understood. I mean, they don't really exist anymore. But I never understood those like doormen in the city, how they just stand there for like 8 hours. I'm like, bro, my back and my legs would lock up just standing in one place essentially for the majority of 8 hours.
Yeah. If I do it for like 5 minutes, my knees start to hurt, and
we're gonna get.
But I had a raised lower desk, and I ended up getting rid of it. I got a nicer desk, but one that doesn't go up and down, and because I just never used it. I mean, I used it probably like once every couple of months. If
I hear you.
So
you got to do. You get the raise up desk with the treadmill that goes underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
You can walk and talk. There's I don't know many people that do it. I don't know how they do it. I feel like it's so awkward. But there's the only guy I know that does it is this Indian dude who's in his like mid 70s. But the guy, he walks every day, and he's like the most happy, energetic dude I've ever met in my life. He does like big syndications. He does a lot of assisted living facilities. Like he builds them. Like the guy's worth buco money. But yeah, he's just like always on Zoom calls, either walking in his neighborhood, if it's nice out, or on the treadmill. So I guess that's the key. You just got to walk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that it's 20-1, let's hear some updates from the Leo world and the crypto world. Oh, hashtag Cat will not be around next Tuesday. I will be on a plane at this time. Got to fly up north to sign some papers on a real estate thing. I still can't get over the YouTube Justin Sun username. That's hilarious. Justin Sun said when moon. The question is already answered. It's happening. Leo price is up. Justin, I want to buy LeoDex. Oh, that's great.
That's funny.
If it was the real Justin Sun, they probably could, but they kind of can't.
Right.
It's a Dex. You can't buy a Dex, or can you?
Can't buy the Dex.
I guess you could buy the team that keeps it running, and you can buy the developer team. I don't know. You can buy all the Leo token. If you want to do it, you have to buy out all the Leo token. I am open to a OTC trade 500% above current price.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is actually in the title is that the staking page is coming soon. And the staking page is actually how you own LeoDex, right? Like it's essentially like that. You 100% of the LeoDex affiliate fees flow to stakers. So on this new staking page, you just stake Leo, and then you earn USDC every single day, and it's proportionate with the LeoDex affiliate fees because the way it works is so there's this new SLEO contract, and I guess this is a good segue into it. There's this new SLEO contract that we deployed on Arbitrum, so it's already live. I've been sharing teaser screenshots of a bunch of stuff on there. And you essentially go to this new page and you can stake Leo that you have in your Arbitrum wallet into SLEO. When you stake the Leo into SLEO, you now get a proportional amount of the USDC that's earned by LeoDex every single day. So let's say there's $100,000 traded on LeoDex yesterday. The average affiliate fee is like 40 basis points. So that means that there's 4,000 USDC, or sorry, 400 USDC sitting in the SLEO contract, and everybody essentially can then log into the Leo page and claim their share of that 400 USDC. So let's say that there's 10 million Leo staked, and Mitch has 1 million of that Leo. That's 10% of the total.
Wait, what? I like this fantasy. I have 1 million Leo. Yes, please.
Mitch has 1 million Leo out of all 10.
Magic Leo Genie, make this happen, please.
You gotta manifest it.
Yes.
You gotta manifest it. So you've got 1 million Leo. There's 10 million Leo staked. Let's say that the earnings yesterday were $400, which is pretty in line with what the typical day is for LeoDex. So that means that Mitch can now claim 40 USDC today. He wakes up, he logs into the Leo page. It says 40. I'll just share a screenshot while we're on here. But he wakes up, looks at the Leo page, and it says 40 USDC available to harvest. And then he, obviously connects, and then claims the USDC, and it's really literally that simple. So we made this whole staking page as simple as possible, and the goal is really what I've seen at least, and obviously you guys know this as part of the Leo community. The entire mission of Leo is really just to build this massive economic machine with the Leo token as the center. And then we've got our different applications. We've got LeoDex, we've got InLeo, and all the value capture happens back to the Leo token. So that's kind of why I got on this tirade, is because you guys were saying, how do you own LeoDex? Well, if you have any SLEO staked on LeoDex, you literally get a share of 100% of the affiliate fees. So that is actually, the easiest and simplest answer is you buy some Leo and you stake it, and now you're earning the LeoDex affiliate fees every single day. And if you want to earn more, then you just buy more Leo and stake more Leo. And then we can kind of get into some of the other stuff like the protocol and liquidity and our protocol and Leo and whatnot, because I think it's kind of fascinating. Go ahead.
So random question, because I remember you mentioned this like a week or two ago, because since it freaked people out last time that I was doing live swaps and wrapping while I was AMAing. I plan on wrapping some Leo. Now, I remember you saying that you can do this through LeoDex or something, or am I dreaming? Instead of the W Leo site, using that, is there a different way now to wrap Leo, or am I dreaming that you said this?
So that's a good question. We added the ability to go. So we actually pushed a pretty big bridge update. We added the ability to go between the different versions of Leo on EVM chains to LeoDex. So let's say you've got B Leo and you want to go to Leo on Arbitrum. You can put B Leo in, and you do it like a normal swap. You put B Leo in at the top. You put Leo on Arbitrum. Obviously it's just called Leo because it's native, but you put Leo in the bottom, and then you can go from B Leo to Leo on Arbitrum in one bridge transaction, and it happens all on LeoDex. It looks and performs exactly like a normal swap.
Gotcha. So you can basically just swap Leo for Leo, and it'll convert the chain you're on.
It converts to the chain. Yeah, it converts from the chain you're on to the chain you want to go to.
Cool. And that includes.
It just looks like a swap.
Okay, and I assume that absolutely includes all versions except for Hive Engine Leo.
All versions except for Hive Engine Leo, because right now it supports all the EVM. Yep. I'm going to share a screenshot of what this looks like.
Yeah, I understand. Just getting the information detailed for everybody. All right, cool.
Yeah, I just shared a screenshot of what it looks like on LeoDex. But yeah, exactly. So if you have Hive Engine Leo, you just use wleo.io like normal, or your Hive wallet, and you can do it from there.
Nice.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, as I mentioned to you before the live went, some time back, I had converted when Hive was at like 29 cents and Leo is at 1.9 cents. I actually converted not a big chunk, but a chunk of Hive into Leo. So that trade has worked out pretty well. And my goal was to basically just, if I can get a triple, which essentially I have. So I'm going to wrap some of that Leo now and swap it on LeoDex for, I don't even know what, maybe some USDT or maybe some Bitcoin. But either way, it's a small trade, but I got to stick to the plan and then get me some volume to earn some airdrop tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's interesting to see like who stuck around through kind of the difficult times, and obviously made it through a lot of that stuff with the ecosystem, and then with the launch of LeoDex and all of our work kind of transitioning to that. Those people are the ones that, like you, bought it super cheap, and things were already up like 3x from the bottom. So yeah, I like to see that the people that were loyal, stuck around, are the ones that saw, the forest through the trees as we transitioned everything. I just shared a screenshot of the staking page that I was trying to grab. But yeah,
Nice.
you can see on there, you'll be able to see all the information. We can kind of break it down if you want to pull it up and ask any questions you got.
Cool. Let me look. I'm sure listeners will have questions. And then we still got what, like another month or so before staking goes live?
Staking is going to go live in the next probably 24 hours.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, but the USDC rewards won't go live until the September 23rd. Is it 23rd or 25th? It's right around September 23rd or 25th.
Okay, that's it. More so I was looking at.
So you can stake early, but there's no USDC until that date. And that's actually another good transition.
Well, I got a bunch of Leo chilling, and since Maya is slow dancing on getting things functional again, I might as well stake anyway because coin's just sitting there. Ben Haas asked, does staking Leo on Arbitrum have gas fees?
Arbitrum gas fees are usually like a few pennies or fractions of pennies, super cheap.
iJats, I'm assuming that answer is yes because I've sold some BLEO. So if I can sell BLEO, I'm sure I can buy BLEO on LeoDex.
Yeah, you can buy and sell BLEO and PLEO on LeoDex. Obviously, usually you can also trade Leo natively, which is Arbitrum Leo on LeoDex, but you can't right now because Maya's still got Arbitrum down. So, little update on that. And then I was going to mention something about the POL, but the Maya team said that their next update. So basically, just to walk this back, the problem and the reason why Arbitrum's been down for a while is, I guess there's something wrong with the USDT pool on Maya specifically, the USDT Arbitrum pool, and they don't have the ability to just essentially deprecate or pause one pool at a time. So they just have to pause the whole chain. So there's something specifically wrong with USDT, and they could get Arbitrum back online, but they need to pause USDT specifically. The problem is that they're not able to do that. So in their next update, they're adding the ability to pause one pool at a time. So that will let them pause USDT on Arbitrum, and then all other Arbitrum tokens, which includes Leo, will get resumed. So yeah, I know it's super inconvenient, and I'm definitely sorry that it's so inconvenient. The only thing I've been able to do, and I've been trying to do whatever I can, is we've made B-Leo and P-Leo really accessible on LeoDex, and then we've given you guys, you know, a full scale update in order to be able to bridge from B-Leo and P-Leo directly to Leo on Arbitrum. So the workaround is like, if you want to buy Leo and move it to Arbitrum Leo, there are ways to do it. Obviously, you can do it on Hive, or you can do it on B-Leo, P-Leo through LeoDex. So the best I can offer are workarounds until Maya gets Arbitrum back online. So hopefully that happens soon.
Yeah, that will be awesome when they get that live again. Let's see. I'm actually in LeoDex right now, messing around. So if I'm at asset holdings in my dashboard, and then under that it has the actions to the right, detail swap. So I got B-Leo. I'm gonna hit this little swap button. Sweet, brings me right to what I want. Defaults to Bitcoin. I got to do BTCB though, because there's no B-Leo to native, I think, Bitcoin route. Max. Select route. Oh, nice. Look at Rango with the better deal. Little Rango action.
Yeah, so Rango and Relay are how we do the B-Leo and P-Leo swaps.
Yeah, Rango's got the better deal. Swappy. Did that work? There we go. Confirm swap. Swapping some B-Leo to BTCB. Man, I wish I would have swapped all that liquid Hive I had back when Leo was on the 2 cents. I figured Hive would get some kind of pump again and I could unload, but unfortunately it went further down. Anywho, let's see what's going on in the comments.
Yeah, while you do that, a little bit on the POL. So I wanted to mention something here. I'll share a screenshot. So just keep in mind, the first part of this is accurate. The second part is still placeholder data, but it'll get fixed today and then before we push it live.
Nice. Tess just posted a performance overview. Another good day on LeoDex.
Let's see here. So this is the POL dashboard. I'm just waiting for the screenshot to load in the broadcast.
Well, in an ironic comment, since you're waiting for that to work, that's one thing I was going to say. It's nice that things work. Like that's always, been a struggle to an extent in terms of functionality. But of late, anytime I wrap, it's like pretty much instant. I haven't had any issues. And then, the handful of swaps I've done on LeoDex, pretty much, done in the matter of seconds, no issues. So it's very nice when things just work and you don't have to deal with, stuff getting hung or, support tickets or any of that stuff. So kudos to the dev team for having everything function smoothly.
Yeah.
That's how you keep users coming back.
Right. Yeah. Well, and with LeoDex, it's definitely a priority to have no bugs. There's a lot of fun things that have happened since we started focusing on LeoDex. Big one being that, the level of dependencies and like outdated code and other things that cause a lot of bugs, especially with something like InLeo in contrast, don't exist for LeoDex. There are plenty of other teams that are all working super hard to keep building and keep updating things and making things better. which makes LeoDex better without us even doing anything. So then with us doing stuff and these other teams doing stuff, you just get like this really good user experience where things are up to date. The docs are good. People collaborate a lot. When we reach out to another team to help or do something with, they reach right back out to us, and we're able to actually work in real time with a lot of other teams. So one thing I've started to really enjoy about LeoDex is that I do think the development, the development now and in the future is just way better. So I'm super happy about that. And I think it's just kind of, goes to show like, sometimes everything happens for a reason. Right. So, but on this POL page, I just shared that screenshot. It shows the protocol owned Leo. So right now it's 1,000 Leo at the top. You can actually see that that's accurate. So there's the POL vault address I've already shared. But this is on the Leo staking page, and it tracks. And I know a lot of people are confused about this. So this is why I wanted to kind of break it down. So this page tracks the S Leo held by the protocol owned Leo vault address. So the POL, which is POL for short, the POL vault address buys Leo and stakes it for S Leo. And then it earns USDC alongside all of us. So, like in my example earlier, let's say there's 10 million Leo staked. If the POL address owns, let's say 2 million Leo, then it earns 20% of the total USDC each day, because it has a 20% share of the 10 million total Leo staked. So its share auto compounds the USDC back into Leo, stakes it for more S Leo, and then earns more USDC the next day. So essentially, this vault address is just continually acquiring more and more Leo, which means that its share of the daily USDC rewards continues to increase, which means that it continues to buy even more Leo. So it's kind of a flywheel in and of itself. And while it's essentially just auto compounding, we basically added this section of the page that explains how a permanent buyer works. So the goal here is and this was inspired by TCY and some of the designs there. But the goal here is like, and Mitch kind of mentioned, what do you do with your Leo? Do you swap it, for something else, et cetera, et cetera? And what I think something that we haven't explored much in theory is that we are now adding the ability to hold on to your Leo while getting exogenous capital every single day in the form of USDC. So for the person that may before have wanted to exit Leo in order to how would you have profited in the past? You would have had to sell your Leo in order to, sell it to USDC or USDT and then cash it out essentially. Right. And that obviously happened a lot with the InLeo rewards pool model. With the new model, obviously there's no inflationary rewards pool anymore on InLeo. And there's also now the effect of if someone holds a lot of Leo and let's say they need income to live, or they want to just cash out in general, like they just want to pull money into the real world. They're getting USDC now every day, and they can do whatever they want with that USDC, and it has no drain on the Leo economy itself, right? So like there's no, if you want to cash out, you don't have to sell your Leo. You can just stake it and then get USDC. And then now you get you get this little, USDC every day, and then you can just keep hodling your Leo. So, I know from my perspective, I obviously have a large chunk of Leo that I've, bought and earned over the last 6 years alongside everyone else. And I'm excited to just be able to stake a bunch of Leo, get USDC every day, and then I can, either buy more Leo or hold on to the USDC or pool it or whatever I want to do with it. I think there's like this really interesting economic effect that's going to happen where instead of, you'll have this choice, do I want to sell my Leo and cash out, or do I want to hold on to my Leo and earn USDC every day and still get the kind of proxy benefit of cashing out because you're getting the USDC. And how that kind of ties into the POL is that the POL is, in theory, obviously we'll see how this actually plays out. If the LeoDex volumes, continue to grow and there's USDC that continues to pour into the staking contract, the POL is earning its fair share of that USDC every day. And then it's buying Leo off the market from the people that do want to sell. And then it's staking it for more S Leo. and then the next day it earns even more USDC, and then it goes out and buys even more Leo. So what you're doing is and again, this is all in theory, but in a long period of time, the POL is a constant buyer of Leo, which is raising the price of Leo over time. Meanwhile, anyone who wants, kind of real world or like, stable coin earnings is essentially just holding on to their Leo. They don't have to sell it. So you're essentially holding on to something that in theory should go up in value over time as long as LeoDex volumes continue to grow, and you're earning USDC from it. So I think the economic kind of value proposition there is just vastly superior to what we've ever had before. And by the way, this is all, and I keep saying like there's a lot to wrap your head around when it comes to Leo 2.0. Obviously, you've got LeoDex and then you've got InLeo, and I like to say that they're like two separate things. They're like two separate islands, but they're connected, and they're connected through the Leo token. Because if you're using InLeo, you're also earning rewards and you're curating and you're active, but you're earning rewards from buybacks, which are driving the Leo price upwards. And then on LeoDex, you're earning USDC, but those are also driving the Leo price upwards because of the POL. And then it's also giving kind of like this economic, downstream effect of rather than exiting by selling your Leo, you're able to just get USDC every day. And again, like if you're trying to get in the mindset of a holder, which is obviously what we've been doing, if you're getting in the mindset of a holder, why would someone want to, first of all, buy Leo? And then why would someone want to hold on to that Leo? And why would someone maybe not want to sell the Leo, right? So, we've really tried to get into this mindset, and what we've kind of figured out, and that's why this model is built the way it is, if you predictably know that the POL holds 20% of all the Leo on LeoDex, then you know that 20% of all LeoDex affiliate revenue is permanently buying more and more Leo because it's coming in as USDC, POL is buying more Leo, and then so on and so forth, auto compounding. So you basically know that as long as LeoDex volumes continue, again, that's like the lead domino, then you know that the Leo price is most likely going to perform well over time. And you know that you're getting USDC while you wait for it to perform well. So again, like all these changes in Leo 2.0, it was a really long time in the making of just like really trying to get in the mindset of why does anyone want to buy Leo? Why does anyone want to hold Leo? Why does anyone want to use LeoDex? Why does anyone want to use InLeo? And this is what we arrived on. And really a lot of this started back in January, February of this year. So it's been, pretty much 7 months in the making. And I just am really happy about where we've landed with all of this. So the Leo staking page is kind of like I feel like it's like the last thing for Leo 2.0. It's like the last major update. I mean, there's obviously more stuff that we're doing as part of Leo 2.0, but the Leo staking page is like, okay, here it is. Like this is the big release. Like if I had to like put everything on a podium and put something as the number one thing, like the showpiece, it would be the Leo page on LeoDex. So I just can't say how excited I am about, obviously getting this page out there and the staking contract live. And well, the staking contract is live, but getting the page out there and letting you guys see it and use it and interact with it. It's pretty awesome. I'm really happy with how everything's turned out. So if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. But that was my rant. I just love the new economics of what we're kind of experiencing here.
I like Brando's comment. Someone should create an infographic of Leo 2.0 tokenomics. And first person I thought of is, hey Morty, have some fun.
Very true.
Flywheels are better understood with arrows and all, or they're just more fun to look at. Yep. Sarnji, I can't even talk. Compounding is amazing. Yes, compounding is a very powerful force indeed. As Warren Buffett used, I think it was Warren Buffett called it the eighth wonder of the world.
Yep, it was.
The African man said, is there a PDF or something where one can read about in Leo's project?
There's the docs, and then kind of all the content that's out there related to the Leoverse. But yeah, like for example, like in the example I used, I said there's 400 USDC every day, and imagine there's 10 million Leo, which is kind of where I expect things to land. I think we'll probably be somewhere in the 10 to 20 million Leo range on LeoDex. Probably like right around 15 million would make a lot of sense to me. It'd be like half and half, right? Like between LeoDex and InLeo. So I just shared a screenshot, but today the earnings on LeoDex were $392.84. The day's not over yet, but goes to show you, like, I think the $400 per day number, at least right now, is pretty close to accurate. And then the goal is grow that, but assume that it's $400 a day, and we can back into some pretty easy math here. Let's say there's 10 million Leo staked on LeoDex. And let's say you've got 100,000 Leo. I think it's a little more accessible than the million Leo number. So let's say you've got 100,000 Leo. That would be 1% of the total Leo staked on LeoDex. So you would get 1% of 400, which would be $4 for your 100,000 Leo stake. So if you get a calculator, if you math this out, you're getting $4 a day times 365 is $1,460 a year. And your 100,000 Leo is currently worth $5,000. So you would take, because at 5 cents, so you would take 1,460 divided by 5,000, and you get 30% APR. So all else being equal right now, with about 10 million Leo staked, when the SLEO contract starts paying USDC, the yield should be about 30% APR. So that's not compounded, by the way. So I don't know what the APY would be on that. Probably like 40% or 42% or so. So yeah, pretty interesting to see. Obviously, as the Leo price goes up, that APR theoretically goes down because the value of what you're holding is higher. And unless the LeoDex volumes increase proportionally, then you kind of get that system there. So I think it's going to get kind of interesting to see what the yields look like as another kind of lens, I guess, or framework. There's some other interface tokens out there that are paying, usually like Thor wallets and Thor swaps, I think are anywhere between 30 and 60% APR is what they're sitting at pretty commonly. So the one stipulation I would actually put there is those tokens only pay a percentage of the affiliate fees to token holders, whereas LeoDex pays 100%. So, in theory, if we had the same volumes as they did, the APR would be even higher, even at the same market cap. So their market caps are relatively high. So anyways, just kind of some interesting math there. But I think if you were to take all the numbers as they are today, the yield should be about 30% per year for staking Leo on Arbitrum through the LeoDex page. So that's honestly pretty solid. And that's paid as USDC every single day. I know Mitch is the yield master, so he's going to love that.
I don't know about master, but I'm definitely a yield junkie. So I'm all for it, especially because, like, when it comes to yield, I look at yield as income produced. So the fact that USDC is the payout is, to me, equals income, since USDC is essentially equivalent to getting $1. So it's always about stacking as many different lines of passive income producing assets. So between yield and from crypto staking and real estate and all the things, multiple streams, right? That's the goal.
Yep. I got a few questions here.
Yeah, there's a few that stacked up.
Yeah, I'll take this one about LSTR. Task said he's closing in on 1,000 LSTR, and the African man said, "What is Leo strategy?" So I will briefly talk about it. We've talked about it before, but Leo Strategy was formed by a handful of whales in the Leo ecosystem. And I think a big thing that they went for was anonymity, which is understandable given what I think was trying to be achieved. I do also think the regulatory environment around it has changed quite a lot over since that launched and today, obviously. But what has essentially happened is they started asking me for advice, and then really since before the project even launched, they were asking me questions and stuff. And then over time, they were like, hey, they would ask more questions, and then they asked, would you take like an official position on the board of Leo Strategy? So I decided recently, and I put out a post last week about this, to take an official board seat on Leo Strategy. So what that and that means different things for different people. Taskmaster is also now on the board; he took a board seat as well, and there's going to be a few others that we announce soon. But what that essentially means is now you've got some faces to the name of Leo Strategy, and we are able to kind of guide the project to success. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there are now over, I think, 150 companies, publicly traded companies in the U.S. stock market that now have Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And among those are a lot of strategy companies who are basically taking the micro strategy model of raising capital in various forms, through bonds or stock offerings or what have you, and buying Bitcoin for their balance sheet, and then using that Bitcoin on their balance sheet to then go out and get more loans and raise more capital in other forms in order to buy more Bitcoin, and they just keep recycling that. And they're able to do this with a lot of different, financial engineering. Obviously, the price of Bitcoin going up is a big factor as well. And now you're also starting to see ETH companies come out. So ETH treasury companies are now coming out as well. So I've been a huge fan of this. I've obviously been watching it very closely. And what we're seeing is essentially TradFi getting into Bitcoin and creating derivatives on top of the Bitcoin network. So I think this is actually a really good thing for the industry in terms of maturing itself and becoming more of a firmament in the financial sector. So I think Leo Strategy has a ton of potential to do literally what it was built for, which is just to mirror what MicroStrategy and others are doing, but do it for Leo rather than Bitcoin, and now for Ethereum. So Leo Strategy does exactly what is happening on these strategy companies, but it does it with Leo. They now hold about 530,000 Leo, I believe, is the latest figure. And they just put out a post recently, or a thread recently about their most recent buy. And with the rise in price of Leo Strategy, the LSTR token, is now trading at a discount. So what that means is Leo Strategy holds a bunch of Leo, and if you use an MNAV, which is a multiple of net asset value. So this is how Bitcoin strategy companies like MicroStrategy actually value themselves. They use MNAV. So MNAV is really, in simple terms, it's basically the market cap of the token, which is LSTR, divided by the total value of the holdings, which for Leo Strategy is obviously the USD value of the Leo that it holds. So the MNAV has been trading at a premium for a really long time, which is actually in line with other strategy companies like MicroStrategy and many of these other ones on the stock market are all trading at MNAV premiums. So I think it's pretty common that once the open market, takes hold of things, these things trade at a premium. And there's a lot of reasons for that, which we can get into some other time. But right now, Leo Strategy is trading at a discount. And the reason why is because there's the initial sale of LSTR, which is like the initial capital raise, essentially. So the sell wall of 100,000 LSTR tokens isn't fully sold out yet. I think there's like 70-something thousand left, 74,000 or something. So what I think people haven't realized yet, and I've been trying to put out a lot of threads about this, is that the Leo Strategy kind of team and board have been talking lately. And when the LSTR token sells out, so when the initial sale is done, we're gonna open an LSTR Leo pool, and it's going to be priced at 1 MNAV. So it's going to be priced at a fair market value on MNAV. So what that means is, like, right now the LSTR token is trading at a 0.88 MNAV, which means that it's trading at a 12% discount to the Leo that it holds. So let's say that the sell wall sells out right now for LSTR, like literally this second, and then an hour from now, the LSTR Leo pool starts trading. The LSTR Leo pool will be priced 12% higher than the sell wall is right now at launch. So that's like an instant 12% arbitrage. So if this discount continues to, the gap continues to grow, I think LSTR will get sold out really quickly, which is what I think we all want to see happen, because LSTR getting sold out, every penny that comes in from that buys Leo, and then Leo strategy is essentially like its own POL. So it's going to stake the Leo as SLEO on LeoDex, earn USDC, and then auto compound it into more Leo. And Leo strategy can't sell Leo. So it is actually essentially its own version of the POL, just on a different vault address, when you really think about it. And then on top of that, there's going to be a lot of things that Leo strategy can do to raise more capital in order to buy more Leo, and essentially act like a MicroStrategy, but for Leo. So I'm super excited about it. I've been trying to put out a lot of content, trying to spread the word and just like help people understand it, because I think these things get confusing. Like, a lot of people don't even know how MicroStrategy works. So, kind of understanding Leo strategy is, MicroStrategy just released a new stock offering yesterday called Stretch. It's like, the things happening right now with these strategy companies is utterly insane. But also, when you dig into the financials, they actually make sense, which is the crazier part. They're just building from the ground up what has already been built on the stock market for so many years.
Yeah. It's funny you mention that, because like I said, there's like Bitcoin chat group I'm part of, and a lot of these guys are MSTR holders, but they were just talking about all these quote unquote crypto treasuries, and how a lot of like shit coins and meme coins are now like getting treasuries, and kind of looking at it as like the beginning of the quote unquote crazy phase of bull market, and how it's probably going to get a lot of coins to run up like crazy. But how is that all going to play out? And it's like anything else. It's just like, there's a good idea, and then someone always takes it too far, and then that kind of like puts a stain on it. That could happen. I mean, some of these coins, like there's, what is it? The dog with hat like has a freaking treasury now, and
Right.
There's a couple other meme coins, and like Doge does as well, but at least like that's somewhat been a coin that's been around for a while and established, at least in terms of relative to meme coins. There's a couple others. Another one, Hype, which is like a new coin, and it's got like 5 different treasuries already.
Yeah, that's Hyperliquid's coin.
Yeah, it have like, I was looking because someone posted all the different, like, it wasn't even a list of all the treasuries. It was just like 25 treasuries, and Hype had like 5 of them. I was like, what in the? Like, I don't even know what this coin is. That's the first time I took a look at it. So that's interesting, because now it's like the new thing is, especially with, institutions, they're just turning like every coin into a treasury, which is basically a way for them to just, lever these coins, which is funny. So it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Right. It's like, all right, so basically what you did with the US dollar, now you're going to do with crypto. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but also if you get in imagine you got in on the ground floor of the dollar becoming utilized for all these financial products. I mean, it's like investing in America, 200 years ago. Like, you made a fucking killing. So, yeah, so that's what's happening right now with all these strategy companies, is they're now rebuilding all these financial tools on top of Bitcoin from scratch.
It's funny too, because the treasuries, Bitcoin was kind of like the number one, and still like the most, I think at this point, the most, we'll call it, I don't want to say safe, but safer, for lack of a better term, coin to build upon, so to speak, just because it's the mainstay, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So that made me more keen on stacking Bitcoin. But now it's like I'm seeing some of these other treasuries, and like you say, long term, some of these meme coins, it's probably a horrible idea, and it's probably going to be some kind of blow up. But right now and for even the next few years, it could be an absolute money train. So like that hype coin, like I'm going to take a look at it. I might actually jump in just because there's 5 treasuries already for it. So I'm like, well, that's pretty much, good sign that the thing's going to pump. I mean, there's no guarantee, obviously, but if you got people building treasuries, I mean, that's just, money coming in.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I mean, and they're able to just keep building derivatives on derivatives on derivatives, like what MicroStrategy is doing. I mean, it's not crazy to imagine that the inflows to Bitcoin are really just getting started. And I'm scared to like jump on, all the like hype FOMO, MOMO, crowd of like, well, this is the last cycle. I don't know that that's true. But the fact that you've got these massive institutions getting into Bitcoin, you got the, governments getting into Bitcoin. And now you've got these strategy companies that are popping up that are creating all these derivative products that are creating more inflows into Bitcoin. I don't think it's that crazy to imagine, Bitcoin reaching, $250,000, $300,000 per Bitcoin, before we see any major, like correction like what we saw before. And that being said, I don't know that the like days of the 50% drop are coming back. Like, I don't know, like it could, I've been in this industry for a long time. I've seen it do all sorts of things, but there's just so much attention and so much capital in it now. You just have to wonder, like on a 20% drop, strategy and the other 100 companies out there that are doing what they're doing, release a new asset so that they can go buy another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're just propping the price back up. And then people are, it creates like that FOMO, and then you get more and more people clamoring to buy it. So I don't know. And then also, really the biggest capital drivers in all markets. This is why like a company gets listed in the S&P 500 and they just take off to the moon. The reason why is because once they're in that index, now all the massive funds that are out there, all the index funds, have to reallocate to those new companies that are then added to the index. So it creates like this kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy almost. So could we see a day where like Bitcoin starts getting added to a bunch of index funds? I think it's very likely to happen. I mean, gold is in a bunch of different index funds, right? So
yeah, I mean,
that would create a ton of inflows on its own.
100%. And that goes back to the stock market. It's like, that was always like, I remember I said to somebody one time years ago, I'm like, this is ridiculous. How's the stock market just forever go up? I'm like, this isn't even real. And then the response was, because there's basically built-in automatic demand. Think about all the 401ks. It's literally, hundreds of millions of dollars every single day buying stock on autopilot, because all the money that goes into people's 401ks, it's like automatically deducted from their paycheck. It automatically goes into the fund. The fund buys more stock. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, that certainly doesn't hurt. So as Bitcoin gets, some of that automatic demand, it certainly will help. And now you're talking about, a coin with limited supply, right? I mean, compared to a company that, they got X amount of shares, but they can always issue more shares, and often do.
Right.
So with Bitcoin, that's not possible. With many other coins. So certainly interesting. And then just the what's the word I'm looking for? Not usable market, just even like the market with access, that key continues to grow. I don't know if you saw Charles Schwab just announced that soon their users are going to have the ability to buy Bitcoin. That's ginormous. Like my stock accounts on Charles Schwab. Like I know a ton of people with Charles Schwab accounts, whether it's the IRAs or just a traditional trading account. So think about all the normies that don't have Bitcoin now, but it's like, oh, they go log into Schwab and all of a sudden Bitcoin's an option. Like, sure, I'll buy some Bitcoin. Why not? So just the access opening up is going to continue to create dollar inflow for crypto.
100%.
Yeah, so it's exciting, and I agree with you. As markets mature, they become less volatile. So 50% drops in Bitcoin. Could that be a thing of the past? Certainly could. Doesn't mean it still can't happen. Heck, I would love a 50% dip. That would be awesome. Freaking load up. But yeah, as markets mature, generally the volatility can shrink to an extent, at least in terms of like that max. Our 20% drops still realistic? 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But seeing the price get cut in half, and that's an argument I've seen with a lot of like the even Bitcoin normies. It's just like, oh, do you ever think we'll see 100K again? And the answer from most of these guys is yes. And maybe we will, maybe we won't. But 100K was a battle point for quite some time. So potentially that is a new floor. I don't know, but I would be surprised if it doesn't get tested and, even push through it just to scare some people, because it's a very big psychological number. So, and you got to remember, like, everyone's in the feel goods now, because the reality is, we've essentially been, if you look at the daily chart, it doesn't feel like it, but if you look at a weekly chart, we've essentially been in an uptrend since we bottomed out in early December 2022. When it doesn't always feel like that, because I know, like, the beginning of this year, we trended from 106 all the way down to the 70s. But just looking at a chart long term, we've essentially been uptrending now for 2.5 years, which surprised me when I saw it on the chart. I'm like, really? Like, it does not feel like we've been. But yeah, December of 2022, we were at 16K. How crazy is that? That's not even 3 years ago. We were at 22K. So price is 5x'd in 2.5 years. Sick.
It is crazy.
What's more sick is I was so positive that Bitcoin was going to touch 14K, I believe it was, or 14.5 or whatever. What did we get to? Yeah, we got to 15.5. I had a huge, well, I shouldn't say huge, but a larger order for my buys in pretty, would have been my biggest purchase at 14.5, sitting there, and I missed by 1,000 points. Oh, well. Always trying to pick bottoms. It's a bad habit. Lesson for all you investors out there. Don't try and pick bottoms, and don't try and pick tops. You'll end up giving back gains and missing out on buys. The goal is to be 20%. So if you buy 20% from the bottom, you actually crushed it on a longer term. And if you sell at 80% of the top, you've also crushed it in a longer term point of view. And that is my public service announcement.
It's a good announcement. You got to be on top of things.
Liquid Eye. Morty posted a Leoverse 2.0 infographic. I like it. Pretty. That's funny. I'm voting the hell out of that. That's the Idiocracy version. Pudgy Penguin ETF. What? If that happens, I'm done. The Pudgy Penguins are funny, though. I don't know if this is a question that you saw or you even want to touch on, but since Task asked it. Actually, no, wait. It was a post that you put. So I saw Task refer to a post that you mentioned about something in regard to centralized exchange reaching out with interest of Leo.
No comment.
All right. No comment for now.
No comment for now. Maybe soon.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of work to do before, we're at that point. So we've got some work to do before then. But
makes sense.
Yeah, what I would, what I would say is we're focused on growing LeoDex, right? Grow the volumes on LeoDex, and things are going to get pretty wild, in my opinion. And I think once you guys actually see and experience the new Leo page, you're going to see what I'm talking about. You'll obviously be able to see the, you'll be able to see all the different mechanisms on there, the ability to stake, the ability to harvest USDC. You'll be able to see the POL, and you'll actually see the POL's growth because it's all real time. So I think I think you guys will be hopefully as excited as I am once you see the page. I think the page is a masterpiece. It is like the kind of showpiece of this whole Leo 2.0 upgrade. It's going to be a page that you go back to every single day, obviously to claim your USDC and just track the POL. Even if you're not a staker on this page, I think you're going to go back to it regularly as a Leo holder, just because you're going to want to, just because you're going to want to see, what's going on with it and what's going on with the POL and how it continues to grow. So I think it's the start of something pretty amazing. So I'm just excited to kind of get it out there and keep things chugging along.
Cool. We are at 1:30 somehow, so might as well.
Yeah.
See if there's any final questions or parting words.
Let's wrap it up. Django asked about the same token that has the same Leo ticker. These days in crypto, there's so many tokens with the same ticker. I used to be concerned about it, but honestly, I'm not concerned anymore. There's so many tokens out there that all have the same ticker. So, I think
that is true. There is a Leo token that's been on centralized exchanges for a very long time. Don't know anything about it. Never heard much about it.
Yeah. It's just, there's plenty of multiples that are out there. So I'm just not worried about it personally. So
yeah. Yep. Self Alpha Troll said it's not too late for Bitcoin if you trade in cycles. That is indeed, sir, true. Ben Haas said, how many countries are in the thread today? That's actually a question of curiosity. Hey, Brando, sweet. So if there's better gambles than hype, find some for me. Because, yeah, like I said, hype's already 3x'd, so I'm down for some DGen coins. Task said, don't sleep on ETH and what Vitalik is doing. Institutions are heading towards that network. So I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, like, well, but is that still good for the price of ETH, or is ETH just essentially a utility token to, transact on that blockchain? That doesn't mean, even if that's the case, price won't push higher, but I think that's why I've kind of been muted on ETH, but it doesn't mean I am right.
Yeah, it's ETH, I've always said ETH, while there are all the L2s, institutions will prefer ETH because if you're moving $1 billion, you don't care if the fees are $10 or $20 or $100 or even $1,000. You want security. And I think ETH has the security that these L2s tend not to have for robust, large transactions. And then the L2s are a lot better for smaller transactions. So for example, with us, Arbitrum is a great blockchain because it's kind of got this trade-off of like, it is still highly secure. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar blockchain, but it also has cheaper fees than ETH. So a lot better to stake Leo on Arbitrum rather than ETH and have the USDC that's claimable out there. So yeah, I think ETH will continue to grow. And you're seeing like the ETH treasury companies just getting started. I think you're about to see an explosion in ETH treasury companies, just like MicroStrategy was for Bitcoin. So I can't stress enough how much I think Leo strategy is important in terms of like financial engineering around the Leo token, because I think these strategy companies are not going anywhere, and they're essentially just creating ground up products. And Leo strategy will do the same thing. So what needs to happen first is get that initial sale closed so that as much Leo can be purchased at low prices as possible. So as the Leo price goes up, that MNAV discount gets higher, which means that Leo strategy is undervalued, and then it's earning yield, and then you'll see the token kind of follow. And there's some interesting things planned in terms of putting LSTR on Solana. And then also with the SLEO token, I haven't talked about this much. We'll leave it as a teaser. The SLEO token will be able to get used for different financial products as well. So like imagine, for example, you can use your SLEO to get a collateralized loan. And you can stake your SLEO. So basically you stake your Leo into SLEO and now you're earning yield. Well, now while you're sitting on that SLEO, because you have SLEO until you unstake back to Leo, you can then take that SLEO, put it in a contract, collateralize it, and then take out a loan against it. And now you're taking out a loan against it while it's still earning yield. So there's a lot of really interesting things we could do with that, where essentially you can have like lending products and pooling and all sorts of things around it. So I think SLEO will be an interesting addition to the product suite. And then Leo strategy will be able to leverage not only that, but a lot of other things. And then final thing, and then we can wrap up. I didn't talk a lot about it, but we're about to do a co-release with the Dash ecosystem. So I'm working with the Dash team right now. We have Dash QR2Swap done. So if you guys remember, we released Zcash swapping with only a QR code. We built the same thing for Dash, and now you'll be able to swap Dash with just a QR code. What's also cool is that now that we've got Dash and Zcash, and I was testing this yesterday, you can do a QR code swap from Zcash to Dash, and then you can do a QR code swap back from Dash to Zcash. And now you've used LeoDex to do two different swaps each way without any connected wallet. You literally just scan the QR code, it sends it off. My tagline for it is, if you can send it, you can swap it. And I think we've leapfrogged the entire UX of cross-chain. And we've just created like this really amazing experience for users. So keep an eye out. We're going to release that tomorrow. So there's going to be a co-release between us and Dash, and you'll see a bunch of content about it. So help us spread the word about it and get more people to LeoDex.
Nice.
Closing thoughts, Mitch?
Honestly, the whole SLEO thing, because, we've talked about this a little bit, like over the last 4 months or so, especially talking to kind of like these Bitcoin heavy normies, I've become more Bitcoin focused because I want to build enough where I have an asset that I can borrow against. Like I want to turn it into my own personal treasury, right? And it's like, what's going to be the easiest one to do that with? It's going to be Bitcoin in terms of, eventually being able to leverage it with TradFi, whatever it is. But SLEO is kind of a game changer, because it's like, well, heck, if I can, continue to build my Leo stack, and, the value of Leo goes up, where it's like, all right, I have a nice little stake to borrow against. I mean, that's game changing, because, that is going to make me want to continue to grow my Leo, knowing that I'll be able to borrow against it, as opposed to having to sell. Because, without that feature, it's like, all right, well, the only way I can, essentially get any, financial benefit from this is selling, and using that money for something. But if I can just borrow against it, then that gives me that same opportunity. So it's actually a game changer.
Well, imagine you not only can borrow against it, but you also are earning yield on it, right? So like you're exactly right. Like the need to sell it will be decreased over time as there's more products built around it. So I think this is what we've needed for a really long time.
No, it's awesome. Cool deal. I guess I told you pregame. I will be on a plane this time
Yep.
next Tuesday, so I will not be around.
For sure.
Following Tuesday, I will be present. So I will see everyone come August.
August it is. It's crazy. It's already August.
I know. I'm just like, what is going on? It's more than halfway through the year, and before you know it, we're going to be in Q4.
It's nuts. It's insane. But yeah, good times. All right, cool. Well, maybe we'll have Task on next week.
Nice.
And Mitch will be having a lot of fun for the rest of us. So
no,
thanks, Mitch.
I'll be working. It's just real estate. Got to do something while I wait for Leo to moon.
Right. Yeah. One moon.
So
one moon.
Already
we haven't even started.
So waiting for the flipping again. Waiting for the high flipping. It happens once. It can happen again.
Oh, it definitely will happen again.
Love that. I love the confidence.
I think probably by the end of August, but we'll see.
What? That's a bold statement. I can't believe we just ended the call with that. That is bold.
All right. Well, we'll see.
That is a short timeline.
You're not seeing what I'm seeing, but
I'm excited for the next 30 things. I'm excited for the next 38 days.
Yeah. I'm seeing good things.
Awesome sauce. All right, everyone. Cool. Well, I guess stack your Leo based on that statement.
Yeah.
Not financial advice.
Definitely not. All right.